Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are crime dramas. For today's episode, I'm gonna talk about Mayor of Kingstown, season 4, episode 5. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode. So let's break it down. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the bunny stuff and kind of obviously tie that into the very end of the episode. But I just want to start there just because. So the fact of the matter is, Bunny's like feeling good. He's like, yeah, the system Frank's kind of set him up with of, okay, let's put our product here, put this trash in front of it, yada yada yada. Oh, we're good, we're golden. And then we see our silent killer. I'm calling her our silent killer because Home Dude has had like what? Maybe 4 or 5 lines of dialogue, and all the times he's popped up, he's just kind of like the one you have to watch out for. It's like this guy is the moment like when he killed Carney and then took out those guys, but for Frank's in episode 3, I was like, yeah, this guy's going to be a major problem, and continues to be one. But yeah, he's got like the time of the train's movement locked down, so it's like, okay, so he knows to hit the train. I wonder where they got the intel from. I guess maybe he didn't really have to do much. All he had to do was follow Bunny. That's all he had to do, and Bunny led him straight to it. So maybe that's all he had to do. Because I was like, how'd you find out about this? Because he even talks about it. It's like they've kept people on him, but he's slippery, so he just keeps like getting away. So he was able to swoop over and just kind of do this. So, but yeah, locked and loaded later on. They planned everything out. Put a vehicle on the train tracks later on. Train hits the vehicle, stops. They kill the train driver. And I was like, what are you going to do? Just steal the stash for yourself or what? It's like, no. We're going to up it. Well, they probably could have stolen it, but they set the train on fire and then kept the train moving. I love it because like going after Roberto last episode was supposed to be a message, and Bunny's like, oh yeah, they received it. Funny enough, they saw your message and they're like, cool, bet, we'll raise you one. And their retort was an even bigger message of like, did you get our message? I mean, I think the biggest FU middle finger would be like to leave the product on the train and burn it. It's like, oh, we're not even going to take it. We're going to leave it and destroy it just so no one gets it, just to prove a point. But there's a good chance they probably did. I don't know, because they specifically set those cars on fire. So I think it probably was a process of like, we're not even going to take it. We're just going to burn it. So, and yeah, I'm so curious to see how Frank and Buddy are going to respond in that regard. But yeah, that's a baller move. I mean, once again, we are dealing with the cartel here. It's like they don't mess around. So this is, Bunny was always kind of, I mean, when it comes to Kingstown, it seemed like he was a big fish in a pretty small pond, and now you are a small fish in a much, much larger pond. Once again, that's a byproduct of, as Frank constantly says, leveling up. That's how he's always referred to what Bunny's going through so far. So that's going to be fascinating to see how that all plays out going forward. Then we have Mike visiting Kyle to let Kyle know about the Callahan of it all. So it's like, right, he doesn't, because I was like, I know Mike had to reference Callahan, but like he didn't realize that's who his cellmate was. Because they did the whole mirror thing last episode, and it's like, oh, nice to be able to put a face to the voice or whatever. But I'm like, he knows. But also he probably doesn't recognize Callahan's voice. He knows the name, but just not his. Obviously, Kyle recognizing what this all means, and he's upset. And now it's like the Tracy of it all too, because now it's like, oh, like obviously he's going to get to Kyle to get to Mike, but to get to Kyle, you'll get to Tracy. So now all the blanks are filling in about Tracy's car and the window being pried open. It's meant to kind of, once Mike figures it out, it's meant to like, get her a little afraid more so than anything. I don't know if they figured Mike would probably figure it out at some point in time, maybe, that there's a little bit more with just everything going on, but he did piece it together. And, he's asking Kyle, like, yo, has anything going down? He's like, no, he just offered me some advice. I was like, well, you're leaving out the fact is he's also hooked you up with some pills, but it's what I said from the beginning, too. It's like, you don't accept anything from anyone because they're always going to want something back. He even says, you accept anything from him, that guy will literally bite your hand off. So it's like, right. Like, don't accept anything from him, even advice. It's like, well, if I cut him off cold, he's going to think something suspicious. Like, all right, then minimize it. Like, just minimize how much contact if you have with him. Like, slowly freeze him out. So, but the problem is, Callahan is very good and very smart. So I don't know if he got any intel from someone else, but like it seems like he's just very good at reading people, and just Kyle isn't, even though that's the thing, they don't even have, like, he didn't even see Kyle's face, so it's not like he's just reading Kyle through the filth. And it makes sense, like, to him it's almost like, I've known your brother, I know how your brother operates, so it's kind of in you that I know how you operate too. I mean, hell, Kyle also had that conversation with Mike too about that heaviness on his chest, which Mike is like, I know that feeling. And he's like, that fear, if it ever gets the best of you, remember, there is a light at the end of the tunnel for you. Not in that capacity, but it's like, there is a light coming to help you. Because he's like, look at me, I made it out of here. And then Kyle's like, but how? Like, how did you survive in here for as long as you did? He's like, it doesn't matter how, just know that I did it. Because even the question keeps coming up of, what is his history of Callahan? He's like, that doesn't matter. But it's like, Callahan kind of talks about it. It's like, oh, like, like your brother, he has that in him, that switch where it's just like, 2 or 3 people attacked him and he can go berserk. He can switch it off and go berserk. But it's like that he still needed help. It's like, I was there, I fostered your brother. I think the line he even said to, I think it was to Hobbs, is, he taught me to, if the one thing, like, if he taught me anything, he taught me how to kill, so it's like, I think we have no, like, I don't know if it's just Mike hates who he became under Callahan, that Callahan, like, puppeteered him, got in his head. It's like, he's the devil, the literal devil on your shoulder. And then maybe that's also why he looks at Frank the same way. Like, in his mind, it's like Callahan and Frank, differences, different aisles of the spectrum, same devil, So I think that might be why he's always why he was warning Bunny, because he's been through that before, specifically because of the Callahan. So that's why he didn't want Bunny to making a deal with the devil like that, because it's like, this is a devil I know of reputation wise, but I've also had my own devil that I've had to kind of contend with, and I don't want you to have to deal with that. But Bunny's in deep in this point in time, so no putting the genie back in that bottle. So I'm so curious, like, more of that history between him and Callahan. Beyond that, like, what else did he do? Like, was it just, you made me into a monster? You're the reason why I am the way I am. Like, I broke in ways that can never be repaired. I still got the scars, probably literally and figuratively, from, like, the whole ordeal. I don't know. But yeah, like, getting back to it, Callahan read him to filth, dude. And he's just like, oh, because initially Kyle's like, yeah, it was my lawyer talking some BS about, like, taking the deal. He's like, I'm not taking no plea deal. And he's like, attaboy. But you could tell it didn't sit right with him. And later he's like, yeah, about that lawyer visit. You could tell Kyle's like, it's like, don't. And then he's like, yeah. And he points out, it was Mike, wasn't it? He's like, Mike's a pisser. He's just like, Kyle's just like, all right, this bastard knows. It's like, the point was to keep it up, to ice him out without him finding out the truth, because Mike warned him, like, and Kyle also knows, like, what it means, for Callahan to know the truth and what that means. Luckily, Mike did get Tracy out of town quickly enough, but still, it's like, it is even not even about going after Tracy to get to you. I guess kind of getting her spooked enough to have her leave town is enough in its own right. But now it's like, it isolates him even more, where it's just like, all they have to do is kind of box Mike out, and they're going to make Kyle feel alone. To be fair, Mike's has enough connection so that people could look after his brother, but, that's the people. I mean, you have Kevin that's officially on the job, and you have Cindy who's kind of like taking it upon herself to be upon the job. But rough spot to be in for Kyle, especially where he ends up at the end of the episode. I don't even know what that's considered. I don't know. I don't think that's Gen Pop, but I'm like, they definitely put him in a very populated area just to kind of screw Mike over because of the moves he made this episode. Because since I'm on that conversation, Mike went to visit. He went to visit Hobbs, and the whole him and Torres bucking at each other type of thing, like, yo, keep your hands off me. It's like, yo, my brother. And Hobbs is like, oh, I just found out yesterday. It's like, oh, you're lying. Because Mike's like, he's like bringing it up, like, oh, you just found out yesterday. She's like, the paperwork's already been put through that Callahan's going to move. It wasn't my intention. It's just like, oh, Callahan was already there. It's like, we didn't place Callahan next to your brother. Your brother ended up getting placed by Callahan. It's like, the history between us and stuff like that. So, and Mike's trying to say, like, whatever you're in, whatever you're mixed up in, I can help you. and she's just like, back to that conversation of being able to control her world. It's like, whatever happens in this prison, she's like, I control my world and what's in this prison. But it's like, yes, you do, but it's like this is a wilier beast than you think. But she does believe herself to be in control, so she's not as worried. But it's like, I think she should be. But it's like, once again, we don't know her whole deal. So with that all said and done, Mike wants to make a point, so he gets Ian and Stevie to like bust their balls a little bit. Cops pull her over, raid her vehicle, be like, oh yeah, we got some bad intel and stuff like that. Stevie found the gun, which I was like, maybe that'll help Stevie in the end because it's an untraceable gun. I thought that might play into later on, but the fact is Stevie was like, no, sorry, Ian was like, about the whole pulling the bullets out thing. Get to that in a sec. Get that to that later. But I was like, oh, so it must have been his own gun. So he must not have used Hobbs. But it does beg the question, like, because he's like, yo, it's got. Because I figured that was going to be important, but now we know why. It's like it's a very specific grip. The file numbers have been filed. The serial numbers have been filed off. So it's like, yo, this is a lady who's definitely deep in. Is like having this type of weaponry, which even Ian's like, we should just take her down now. But Mike's like, no, because it doesn't deal with our larger. She has connections. She has the money and power to like get good lawyers. So locking her up for a minute does nothing. We need to kind of take her down and who's ever backing her. This is the greater. We got to go like to whoever's behind her. So what happens later on is she goes to visit Mike. She's like, you won. I'll move, do the whole thing. And you're like, is she really going to do it? And the fact is she doesn't talk a lot. She's just like, well, and just kind of acts like she accepts defeat. But I was like, oh, she plans to fuck you back extremely hard. And she does. Moving Kyle, like, you're like, at first I was like, yo, is this for Callahan? And then they move Kyle. And even Kyle's like, where are you moving me? They're like, yeah. But even Callahan's advice was just like, yo, whoever comes towards you, best heed the advice, brother. You need to take out whoever heads comes your way. And Kyle can't sleep. It's like he's in there. Because like everyone there, it's like, it's probably a combination of he's fresh meat, but they probably also know he's a cop, so extra motivation to kill him too. So it's like, yeah, there ain't no sleeping there. You better sleep. You can't. Don't sleep with one eye open. Literally both eyes open. Don't even lay down. You have to be on your shit, dude. Hopefully you got enough rest beforehand because you ain't resting right now. So the moment Mike finds out, I mean, because even Ian was like, yo, like, what if she kind of strikes back? And Mike's like, what's worse than what's happening now? Nothing could get worse, right? It's like, well, it can, because it's like, and luckily Tracy and them are gone, because if it wasn't that, probably would have done a lot more to spook and scare away Tracy, but she's already gone. So it's like, yeah, we're doubling our efforts to like stick it to Kyle. So kind of, and it's going to be Hobbs being like, oh, you thought you could push me around? It's like, cool, let me show you me flexing. So we'll see how that all turned out the moment Mike finds out about that. But it's like, yeah, Hobbs will probably won't let you even set foot in the prison anymore. You're like, oh, your brother, you can't see him right now, no visitation. She's definitely going to box Mike out from even being able to communicate. And once again, to cut Kyle off even more, to make him feel that much more alone, just to kind of break him that much more. So Kyle is going to be going through it. So we'll see how that all shakes out for him. Mike did try to go to Evelyn to try and get Kyle released, and he's like, all right, what do you want? She's like, I can't even deal with you right now about this. He's like, no, I will grant you whatever you want. What do you want? She's like, I want Robert and I want Ian. The fact is, she's like, Kyle is going to be fine. Kyle got 6 months. Ian is not going to survive because, like, Mike's like, Ian's not going to rat. He's not going to turn. And she's like, oh, we'll see. Well, because like she's like, Ian will die in there. He cannot survive in that place. So she'd probably feel that even more so if she knew for a fact that Ian. I don't know if she thinks or believes or has an even inkling of that Ian's responsible for what happened to her. But, if she did, even if she has an inkling, if she knew for a fact, the hammer would be coming down even harder, But, I mean, the hammer's already coming down pretty damn hard, so it's already set in motion. As Ian's captain gave him a heads up, it's like, yeah, the indictment against him is coming down in like 2 days. So not much can be done on that front. It's like the moment he's like, basically, police are not obviously seen in the best light. So he's like the moment they find out you're on the docket, you're going to be screwed. So like they're already going to be a bias against you because of that. So either way, Evelyn, the moment she was like, you're going to have to offer me up someone even more evil than Robert for me to do this. And the moment that got said, I was like, well, a new devil just came to town. So I'm like, Frank? Is Frank gonna, but that would also mean fucking over Bunny. But it might benefit you later on where it's just like, okay, especially because Bunny's trying to make moves to kind of escape all of this. So, like, Frank does seem like the devil you could offer up. He is like the big evil that's of this season, and not less the cartel guys end up being it, but I feel like it's definitely got it. Frank feels like he's the big evil that Mike could offer up, but that would once again involve screwing over Bunny, and Bunny probably wouldn't co-sign that, so that might cause a rift between him and Mike. Maybe not. And that's why I was saying, like, unless something happens where it benefits them both, that like Bunny can like fuck over Frank, take over his operations, and then toss him to the wolves, that being Mike, to toss him to Evelyn to get Kyle out. Not potentially an option, we'll see, but like Evelyn tried to make him realize like it's not all on you, and it's like, Kyle's gonna be okay, like you don't have to kind of carry that weight. He's like, yes, tell that to his wife and child, because obviously Tracy ripped into him about the whole, it's that line of dialogue that keeps coming back about everyone around you. You're trying to help people, but in fact you just kind of make matters worse. So it's like, right, his mom, his brother, it's just like you try to help but things get worse. So it's like, because she's like, I know you're saying that you're helping Kyle, but I don't see it, because it's like every time it seems like he's trying, something comes over to completely muddy that or completely shut it down. So that's the frustrating thing of like, I gotta look out, as he said last episode, my brother on the inside and my brother on the outside. And it's just like the brother on the inside thing is getting worse, but now like things are escalating with the brother on the outside. So it's just like, yeah, it's, it's like, right, you look like you haven't caught any sleep. And he's like, when do I ever sleep? I don't. Like, I'm working 24/7, The job of the mayor is never done. Obviously, not an easy job. No one ever claimed it to be an easy job. So, yeah, fascinating on that front. Then circling over to the Ian situation. So, Ian backed into a corner and stuff like that. Goes, the moment he's trying to call Robert, I was like, I figured as much. I was like, that's the one person you have to turn to. It's not till partway into the episode I was thinking back to that line from last episode, which is like, oh, it's super ironic, even more so, that, when Ian was talking to Mike about it near the end of the episode, like, oh, I'm going to find and deal and scare this guy. And the moment Mike was like, oh, this time don't bring a serial killer. Who does he bring along? Robert. You're like, the irony behind that, all that. You're like, yeah, the irony is not lost. And so it's like, why? I get it. He's the only one you can bring. You can't bring Stevie because, once again, you don't need to, because he doesn't want to drag Stevie even more into his mess. But it's like, this is more so Robert's mess too. So it's like, you can help out. So it's like, right, this is about getting them both out of the fire. So they track down the guy. It turns out he's like a food delivery guy. Track him down. And the moment he got out the car with the gun, Ian was like, you don't need that. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, oh, God, why are you... Like, who he is. But the problem is, Ian's perfect. Like, he's upset, but it's also like, in the back of your mind, this is a possibility. You know that Robert, for one, it's been drinking. The guy's got nothing to lose. He's always been unstable, and even more so without his job, because that's his only outlet to let out all his crazy. So it's like, you knew it was going to end this one way. So it's like, Robert wasn't just going to talk to him. Ian's trying to talk to him, but he's like, yo, I know you're trying to intimidate me. This is witness tampering. I'm going to record you guys. And then Robert shoots him in the neck. You're like, Jesus. And like, Robert's looking to him like, because he's like, I promise you guys, I didn't see anything. I was like, what are you going to do now? And like, it's like, Ian. So Ian pops him and kills him. It's like, well, there we go. Transport the body. They're going to dump the body. Also have to pull out the bullets. So, even if the body surfaces, the last thing we want is them running these bullets. So I love that line from Robert where he's just like, what was it? Because Robert's almost treating this like it's fun, and Ian's like, are you a psycho? He's like, well, this isn't ha funny, but kind of, dark times type of funny. So they throw the body in, let it sink and kind of get sucked away. I was almost thinking like, is the body not going to like get dragged beneath, but luckily it does. But it's like, once again, what did Ian expect? So, and obviously Evelyn's not going to let this go, but I guess it's like, yeah, the witness happening to just disappear now that you know, and it's just like her case is going to blow up, but this is going to make her want to go after Ian even more. So it's like more blood is shed and just everything. So you're like, I don't know where they like I said, I kept wondering whether Ian will involve Robert just to throw Robert under the bus to tie this all up so that Robert takes the fall, but he doesn't. So it's like, but Mike's also going to back up Robert and Ian, especially like, oh, when this happens, but it's like, the moment her witness disappears, and now her case is going completely, maybe she'll be more willing to reach out to Mike to do something, or maybe she's going to think he's going to have something to do with this. He knew what was going to go down. Granted, he knew the point was like too scared. Ian was like, oh, I'm scared of guys. It's like, well, the last witness, once again, he wasn't supposed to bring a serial killer, but the moment Mike finds out, like, you brought Robert, like, what? How the fuck else did you think this was going to go, dude? It's like, it's just a thing he was willing to accept. That's what it all comes down to. He was willing to accept that being a possibility because Robert's unstable and he was never just going to be okay with just like, yeah, I mean, it's like, why not just make this quick, especially the moment the guy's threatening, like, hey, like, you could have done something else. You could have like beat him up or something like that. Which I'm not co-signing all of this. All of this is fucked and terrible, but it's like, even though these are our characters, like, once again, Robert's a whole other beast. Ian, still, it's like, Ian's done some fuck shit. So I get it, you're also supposed to, but we recognize how fucked up and flawed these characters are, and it's like, do I kind of want you to get away with it? To some small degree. This ain't like a Walter White thing where I'm like, even though Walter was a part of some terrible shit, like, I still was like, I'm rooting for the villain. I kind of want you to get away with everything. I'm kind of like that with Ian and Robert, more so Ian and Robert, but I'm still kind of like, man, I don't know, man. Especially because of the Evelyn of it all, that's kind of like a bigger strike against him. And once again, if Mike ever finds out, he's going to throw you to the wolves. He's going to leave you to be ripped apart by, and devoured by, Evelyn. So yeah, very, very interesting developments. Oh yeah, and we also have Mike and Cindy. Like, Mike went to go see Cindy, and she's even like, oh, why'd you want to stop by? Was it about your brother? It's like, no, stop by to see her and her kids. Obviously, her oldest being very protective, and you're like, which obviously Mike, I think when he's looking at it, probably makes him realize like how much her kids look out for her, especially like her oldest. And it makes sense because I'm sure like probably sees a little bit of himself, maybe even his brother Mitch. I mean, especially because there is three of them, he probably can't help but think about the times him and his brothers probably had a similar thing when it came to their mom. So I'm sure there's parallels being drawn in that moment, which I think is also why Mike likes her, but also does want to keep her a distance. But he does let her know, like, yo, you need to watch out for the warden because she's corrupt. Keep her at arm's length because she associates with criminals, which even she's like, what about you? He's like, what about me? She's like, should I keep you at arm's length? He's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, you should. So interesting as that relationship continues to deepen. And once again, it's just like, I'm always half empty because I'm a pessimist. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I'm like, that's going to go super sideways, and somehow you're going to get killed. Because let's not forget, like, you're already on the warden shit list, the people she's mixed up with, and if she finds out Cindy has any connection with you, that's going to end badly for her, because we saw what happened to Carney. So like anyone that has any connection with you, especially on the inside of the prison, they will be extra fucked if, that connection is revealed. So we'll have to wait to see how this all plays out going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.